everybody, namaste and a warm welcome. How are you doing? कैसे हैं आप लोग? Quickly type it in the chat box. We are doing something very exciting this week and I hope you are also as excited as we are. Hope you did today's yoga. आपने आज का योगा किया होगा. Good. Amazing. Very nice. How many of us do some sort of gardening? सबको थोड़ा थोड़ा gardening करना चाहिए, but do you practice it or are you venturing into it? आप इसमें घुसने वाले हैं? Yeah. So today we have with us a very qualified expert and I will introduce you to him. But one disclaimer before we begin the session, this session will be exclusively in English. हाँ, ये session English में ही होगा. So if you can understand, then it's fine. If you cannot understand, then wait for some time. We will do some other gardening workshop with an Hindi expert. But sir will try and explain it in a very simple language. बहुत ही simply वो समझाएंगे. तो अगर आप समझ पाए तो good. Otherwise, we will do some other gardening workshop. But this session will be exclusively in English. Is this clear to everybody? Quickly type a clear in the chat box if you're clear about this. Yeah, you all are motivated to do this, to do gardening. Very excited. We are very excited. It is something that I promote a lot because I take a lot of these gut cleanse workshops, and I always say that the more we are in connect with soil, the better it is for our mental health, and the better our mental health is, the better our physical health will be. It is all connected. जितना हम soil से touch पे रहेंगे ना, उतना ही हमारे health के लिए बहुत अच्छा है. Clear? So today's session will be in English and I'm very happy that we're all aligned with this. Let me now introduce our expert to you. Our expert is Mr. Hariesh Krishnamurthy and he's a qualified horticulturist. Okay, and he did that from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University. इन्होंने अपने graduation he completed from Coimbatore and then he did his post grad in horticulture. Okay, he's been practicing horticulture since a lot of years now, and I think he'll be able to tell us the exact number of years. But he is also a home garden enthusiast, and he has mentored so many people, thousands of people in their home gardening journey. We are very fortunate to have Mr. Harish with us. And what the reason which aligns with us, right? जिस reason से हम लोग ये workshop उनके साथ कर रहे हैं is that he chose home gardening as a career. है ना? It is, you see a lot of people who do home gardening as a hobby, as a passion, as a part time, right? But he chose to do that as a career, and he says that if he can do it, and if he can motivate other people to do some home gardening, that he has found as the purpose of his life, which is truly enriching. So we are very fortunate to have him. I'll introduce you to him also. Namaste, sir. Very warm welcome.
Thanks, team. Thanks, Yamini, for this interesting welcome. So it's a new platform for me to have my kind of gardening spoken about or mentored about. Thank you very much for this session. Today and tomorrow we will have a short but very insightful story on gardening. So if we are good to go, can we start?
Yes, sir. The screen is all yours now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, yeah, thanks for the screen share. Like Yamini from Habil team told, I am not very comfortable with Hindi. So this session will be in English, and it's like simple English, not a very complicated English and all. So I am I'm a very simple person. I talk in very simple language. So please do let me know after the session. We can have questions. I find a lot of comments on the chat box, but let me have some interesting questions after the session is over. Great. So shall we go to the presentation as such quickly, because our time is also very limited. Somebody's sharing the screen, team, or do I share the screen?
So you can change the slides. You have the option of changing slides. The
Yeah,
slides are on.
great, great. Yeah. So today's day one of home gardening basics. There are some interesting basics which we will have to really be knowledgeable about. If we fail on the basics, not just in home gardening, any life skill, any habit, whatever it is, if we fail in the basics, then I think it is very difficult to move further forward. That's why in a community like yours, which is basically united because of a certain aspect called yoga, right? You do on a regular basis daily, and you have the basics again and again. You do the basics, the breathing, the certain different kinds of asanas, and all these things. Every day you repeat certain things, and that is the basics. And once the basics are dealt clearly, I think any life skill, not just gardening, is very, very easy, right? So gardening is the best bridge to nature. You need a connect to anything. Many of you are here in this community. There is one platform called Habuild, and you are all getting connected to that platform, right? So there needs to be a bridge to connect us to certain other entity. So if you want to connect yourself to nature, gardens are the best bridge. Somebody who has a very small garden, you don't need to have a very large garden, acres together of land. No, all that is not required. Just about 10 or 15 potted plants, or maybe a small space in the ground garden. That is more than enough for us to connect to the larger nature. Nature is not just the trees, nature is not just the plants, it is the mountains, it is the people, it is the environment where we live in. So that is what is important, to connect with the next entities, whatever is there around us. Gardens form a very interesting connect or a bridge, right? All of you are uh, yoga practitioners, right? You are all joined together in this habit, basically for learning some interesting yogic practices. What is yoga? What is yoga? Anybody knows about the Yoga Sutra, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra? In fact, all the yoga what we do now is basically from the theory of what Patanjali had given long time back. Any subject has got a theory, any subject has got a practical. Everybody has to be strong in theory, and that gives us quick results in practicals. If you are not strong in theory, then yes, the practical gets delayed. Same way, there is a theory text on yoga written by Patanjali, compiled by Patanjali, and that's called Yoga Sutra. The first line of Yoga Sutra reads like this: Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. This is the first line. It runs to volumes. There are a lot of chapters, there are lots of verses and things like that, but that's not important now. The most important line is first line of the Yoga Sutra called Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. The first line is written in Sanskrit. The second line is just the transliteration in English. The third line is the actual meaning of this line, verse. Controlling the fluctuations of mind is yoga. Right? Yoga is not just breathing. Yoga is not just doing some asanas. Right? Yoga is not practicing something. Yoga is something, finally, the one which should control the fluctuations of your mind. So if anything is there which is able to control the fluctuations of your mind, to bring your mind to a state of steadiness, that is yoga, right? It can be the asanas what we do, it can be the breathing what we do. That's why breathing is very important in yoga, right? I'm not an expert in yoga. Probably I learned certain lessons from my yoga teacher about 5 6 years back. rarely practice yoga. In fact, I would love to join your community. In fact, I told the team, Habil, that yes, I will definitely join the community in doing this uh, practices on a day-to-day basis. So anything which controls the fluctuations of mind is called yoga. It can be gardening, it can be painting, it can be art, it can be sculpture, it can be music, it can be dance. So if it is able to control the fluctuations, thinking about one, two, three, four, five, no, just thinking about one particular thing at a time. So that is yoga. So that way, I'll tell you, friends, gardening is one of the best form to be in yoga. To be in yoga, the state of yoga, right? To be in the state of yoga, gardening is very simple, accessible to everybody. Everybody may not be a painter, everybody may not be a musician, everybody may not be a dancer, but everybody can do gardening. Each and every one of us, wherever we are, we can do gardening. So this brings us to the state of yoga, chitta vriddhi nirodha, controlling the fluctuations of mind. So that's an easier way to communicate what is gardening to a community which is more concerned about this yogic practices, right? Great. Why should one learn gardening? To post on social media, say that I got this much of vegetables, I got this much of flowers, this is something very rare, that is something very rare, and all sorts of uh, 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 expression of child ego. No, gardening should be done to understand these five entities. That's all. Why one should learn gardening? To understand the difference between situation and journey. There is something called a situation. Most of the social media posts, or your kind of photos, what you see, reels, what you see, or different kinds of information, what you see is situation. They'll show you a plant, beautiful plant, lovely harvest, this, that. So it is not important to just learn the situation. It is important to learn the travel, the journey, how this plant grew. How many flowers has it given in the last about 1 month, 2 months? What is the stages in through which this plant has gone through? This is more important in doing gardening. All of us are doing gardening, right? We are only bothered about the final result. I need to get so much of flowers. I need to get so much of vegetables. I need to get this much of fruits. But the most important thing is the journey. How do we take the plant or the entity through this journey so that we are able to achieve something? This is not only for gardening, this is for every habit building, right? I need to have a very uh, uh, interesting emotional stability, physical stability. So, towards that, what is my journey? I can't get it instantly, right? I can't do some activities for 3 or 4 days and say, fine, I will get this emotional stability or physical stability and things like that. There has to be a journey. So to understand the situation versus journey, gardening will help you very quickly. So you will understand, okay, the plant has gone through these steps and stages, and that is how it has come to this level. It in a positive way or in a negative way, either ways, right? So the plant does not die immediately. The plant shows symptoms slowly, 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 and then probably finally dies. So this is the journey, either in the downward trend or in the upward trend. To become slow and steady, plants are very slow and steady, right? They are not very quick growing. They are not very they are not monstrous. They are not Jack and the Beanstalk story, right? So they are all very slow and steady growing. This is very, very important for us, especially for the younger generation, right? We see so many information on social media saying that somebody was there like this and they created something and they became billionaires and billionaires. Yeah, there are cases which happen like that, but most of the time it is slow and steady, step by step increment in your life patterns is what is going to help you, right? You join the yoga program. It's very difficult to get a complete holistic development in just 5 days, 6 days, 10 days, 1 month. No, it takes a certain time. So that slow and steadiness, if you are doing good gardening, you imbibe the energy of these plants to become slow and steady, to appreciate patterns. When you go out to a park or to an avenue, or even in your own garden, or some landscape which is there in the corporate office, in hospitals, in theme parks, or in malls, you find different kinds of plants, right? Plants with different leaves, different kinds of flowers, different textures, different patterns, different blooming times. All these you find. These are called patterns. So when you start to appreciate patterns in plant, wow, that's a beautiful yellow color flower. This is a beautiful pink color flower. This is a fantastic different kind of a leaf. This stem is looking so rugged and it's looking very artistic. Sometimes the tree trunk will look very artistic. Sometimes the branches will look very artistic. So if you start to appreciate patterns, we imbibe the energy from the plants and we start to appreciate patterns in people. All of us are not same, right? I may be smiling in front of you, but behind there'll be a completely different face for me. So there are different people in the society, and yeah, we will have to be accommodative with all these people. Good, bad, not so bad, right? Temperamental, very soft spoken, very shy. So these are called patterns. So you imbibe the energy from plants. You don't dislike any plant. You start to like every plant for whatever small change it is able to show us. So that way you start to appreciate patterns in the community what we are in, to accept dynamism and accept the dynamism of nature. What is dynamism of nature? Dynamism is nature has a rhythmic flow, right? It is not static. It is not like that. Plants grow, they become bigger, better, suddenly they die, suddenly they get diseased, suddenly they get infested by some insects. All these things can happen. Suddenly there'll be a flood, trees will topple down or they will tilt, you will have to push them back, things like that. This is called dynamism. So there is always a change, and this change has to be accepted. You have to accept the change. If you are not able to accept changes, and if you feel that everything should go by what I desire, then there is a mismatch. So you do gardening, you learn to do gardening to accept the dynamism of nature. Easiest way to become holistic. That's what I told you. No, anybody can do gardening. 10 pots, 10 pots, right? Maybe even if you don't have great space, you just have a few bottles with money plant and syngoniums, plants which can grow in water. Right? Easiest way to become holistic in a sense. Yes, I I am able to appreciate I am also a component in this earth plane. I am not the component in the earth plane. I'm also one among the lizard, the insect, the snake, the plant, the tree. So I'm also one component of this nature. So this is called being holistic. So to appreciate every other entity which is near you is being holistic. So that is very quickly achieved with gardening, because gardening is something which we can do at any point of time, any place, by anybody, no age, no qualifications required, no expertise required. You just have to start and go on. So, what is good gardening? This is just some intro about gardening, right? Gardening is not fertilizers, pesticides, neem cake, compost. If some of us have the feeling that constant application of fertilizers, right, or constant application of some pesticides or neem cake, neem kali, this compost, that compost, that is not gardening, right? All this gardening, friends, is only in the last about 100 to 120 years. Home gardening is becoming a very interesting thing. Home gardening is something which has really caught up after the last about 50, 60 years. Maybe during the British period in India, right? It started only with very rich people. Common people did not have any gardens at all. They did not have even space. They only had agricultural field, farms. They did not have space in their house. So they did not have great gardens. Nowadays, we have gardens because we slowly adapted all these things from the British. So they had lovely gardens in there. palatial bungalows. So we slowly started adopting all these things. So gardening is not just fertilizers, pesticides, all these things, because none of them were there about 100 years back. Now it's 2025. 1925, I don't think there were any fertilizers. There were no great pesticides. There was probably neem cake was there. Neem-based fertilizers was there. Some compost were there. So all the gardening was done without fertilizers, without pesticides. Farming, right? Whatever they grew, flower crops, flower plants, for the puja purpose, for temples, all that was grown only without fertilizers, without pesticides. So what is good gardening? Good gardening is more connected to these five entities, like how the entire cosmos, or probably at least the earth plane, right? Forget about Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn. At least the earth plane is connected to these five entities: heat, sunlight or heat, medium or soil, location or space. Probably that uh, mark is just to indicate that location, right? Location is a very, very interesting phenomena. Breeze or wind, water. If somebody is able to understand these five entities in your garden, in your home, in yourself, I think you are quick to absorb any basic stuff regarding anything. So the sunlight, the medium, the space, the breeze, and the water is what is going to take you through good gardening, not your fertilizers, not your pesticides, not any of your growth promoters. All these come next. Like I think, because my yoga teacher has taught me that the minute we go for the yoga class, the first 5 minutes or 8 minutes is only breathing, right? Four counts in, two counts hold, eight counts exhale, then something like this. So for the next about 5 minutes or 8 minutes, we will keep doing this breathing exercise, and then only we will start the other asanas in stages, right? In stages, you start the other asanas. Finally, you end with the Surya Namaskar, and then you take some rest, and then you come down. It's like a beautiful uh, sigmoid curve, something like that. So all your gardening or all your basic connect with anything for that matter should start only with these five entities. And beyond this, yes, you need inputs, you need some knowledge, some extra stuff. But if some mistake is done in this five, this mistake cannot be rectified by doing the fertilizers or pesticides or whatever it is. Got it? The point is, if there is a mistake in this mistake cannot be solved or sorted by doing something other than this, all your fertilizer guys. So the most important uh, problem what we face in gardening is that we forget about these five, and we always think about fertilizers, pesticides, neem cake, because that is the level we are in. We have to come down a bit, and we have to say, okay, this is the basic. The foundation is important. Any big building, any tall structure has to sit on a very nice foundation. The foundation is this. If the foundation is not understood, we will be constantly going round and round something which is not at all very clear. Right? So let's see what is the foundation. Sunlight. There are sun-loving plants, there are shade-loving plants. Basic. All the indoor plants what we have nowadays are all introduced plants. 90% of them are introduced plants. In the sense they have come into this country, to India or different countries, because nowadays we have a lot of introduction happening from one country to the other country, this country to that country. So most of the indoor plants were originally not Indian origin. They are from East Africa, East Asia, probably South America. Same way in all the other countries, right? Lot of plants are being uh, taken from one place to the other place. So there is a classical difference between sun-loving plants and shade-loving plants. So a sun-loving plant needs sun, period. A shade-loving plant needs shade. So if we mix these two entities, a sun-loving plant put in shade or a shade-loving plant put in sun, they don't perform, because the first thing goes wrong. The first entity is kind of juggled up. So the plant does not understand why it is sitting in the wrong place. So hibiscus or a mogra or any flowering plant, a chandni or a rose or a tagar or a oleander or a ganer or a champa, all these guys which are flowering, they need open sun. So just because we have a balcony and just because we get some filtered light, not direct sunlight, just maybe half an hour light, 1 hour light is coming inside, we think that it is bright and sunny. No, these plants require open sun situations. So sunlight not in connection with our requirement, sunlight in connection with the plant's requirement. So if we put the plant in a wrong sunlit space, a sun-loving plant in a shade place or a shade-loving plant in a sunlit space, they don't perform. So any amount of fertilizers or any amount of inputs, whatever you give to the plant which is put away from its actual requirement, they will not uh, do properly. So this is very important. All your flowering plants are sun-loving plants. All your foliage plants, leafy plants, mostly 60 to 70% are shade-loving plants. Right? All your shade-loving plants will have broad leaves, thick leaves. So these are all interesting shade-loving plants. So the moment you go to a nursery or buy an online plants, one should not ask maintenance-free plant. I want to have maintenance-free plant. No, that's not the question to be asked to the supplier or to the vendor, right? You have to ask, this is my place. I get 1 hour of sunlight. What is the plant I can have? Probably you can have 10 different kinds of plants which can grow in that space. Probably if you go ask the wrong question, he will give you the wrong plant. And that is the reason why many of our plants are not doing great. So this is very important as far as gardening goes. Water. There are water lovers and water shy plants. Honestly, most plants are water shy. They are not water lovers. Only about 20% to 30% of plants are water lovers. Rest of the plants, about 70 to 80%, are water shy plants. So the first mistake what we do in doing gardening is continuously watering. No, you should not continuously water. Watering depends on the season. Monsoon season, we don't water or very less water. Autumn, probably slightly more, maybe once in 2 days. Winter, once in 3 or once in 4 days. Friends, winter uh, in a place which is warm winter like Chennai, most of the plants, indoor plants, what we have, we water it only once in a week or once in 10 days. That is all the water that is required. Why? Because during winters, there is no water loss. We don't sweat during winter. Our intake of water is also very less during winter. Summer, we sweat a lot. Our intake is also more. So depending on the season, your watering pattern has to change for the same plant. So with different plants, you will have to do it differently. With water shy plants, you will have to do in a certain way. With water loving plants, you'll have to do it in a certain way. So the idea in gardening is to learn which is a sun loving plant, which is a shade loving plant, which is a water shy plant, which is a water loving plant. This is very important. So once we start to understand these basics, I don't think you will have any great problem. So if you overwater a plant which is water shy, the plant will not do well. There is no point in doing anything extra to that plant. If you underwater a water loving plant, the plant will not do well. So the basic idea is to learn the foundation of gardening and not just to keep buying products. No, that's not going to help you at all. Mediums. There are soil lovers, water lovers, sand lovers, air lovers. There are air plants. There are orchids. There are bromeliads, which are air plants. Right? They don't need any medium to grow. There are soil lovers, which like a lot of soil. There are sand lovers. Most of your cacti, succulents, they are all lovers of sandy medium. They don't like a lot of soil. They don't like a lot of water stagnating in their roots. Succulents, your cacti, all these don't like a lot of water stagnating. There are water lovers. So there are marsh pennywort is a water lover. cypress grass is a water lover. So if mediums are not tended to properly, so the ultimate idea is this: first, before going in for investing on products, investing on different, today the market has got at least about a few thousand products in gardening, and all of us are only attracted towards products. You just need to see a beautiful picture on the packing, you buy that product. So before understanding products, try to understand the concepts. Concepts are very important. So medium or soil is one of the important entities which is required for good gardening, because almost about one half of the plant, the root system, is inside the soil. Just because we are not able to see the root system outside the soil, we can't say that the root has no role to play at all. We only see the external portion of this plant: beautiful flowers, beautiful leaves, beautiful fruits and vegetables. We don't even appreciate the root. The root is very important. The root is like something, when as children, uh, maybe even now, when I start driving a car about 10 years back, my daughter was about 5 years old. So she asked me, I was going in a very traffic hit road. It was, the traffic was moving very slowly. So at a point of time, I just took my hands from the steering wheel and I was just moving the car. Now my daughter is asking me, Appa, you are not even holding the steering wheel. How is the car moving? So for her, the steering wheel is something which makes the car to move. But only we know, no, the steering wheel is just to steer. All the controls are only in our feet. The accelerator, brake, and clutch is there down below. She is not able to see that. Same way, most of us are not able to understand the root is the most important entity in a plant, not the top. Something happens to the root, the plant top is gone. Something happens to the top, the root is not gone. The root is still alive. That's why many cases the top of the plant will die, but from the root, plants will grow back. So something which supports the root is the medium, and the medium has to be very healthy. Please, friends, application of constant fertilizers, constant products is not going to keep the root healthy. There are certain ways in which you can keep the root healthy, and probably today and tomorrow we will see something on this. Breeze. There are wind acceptable plants and wind shy plants. Most plants are wind shy, like how most plants are water shy. Most plants are wind shy. Wind carries a lot of water vapor from the plant's leaf surface. So a plant which is kept in a windy area, in a very high-raised terrace, or in a high-rise balcony. Nowadays, people live in 20th floor, 30th floor, 40th floor. So those of us who live in a very high level in the apartment, our plants are always stressed because of the activity of wind. We will not be able to appreciate it's because of wind. We will think it's because of something else. No, wind carries water vapor very quickly. This is like a diarrhea symptom, right? The exit is faster than the intake. So the plant is not able to take in water as quick as water is lost from the plant. So that way, always your plants looks drab, droopy, very, it's like always wilted. It's because of the activity of wind. So if you have a provision to arrest the wind flow onto your balcony plants, your plants will automatically look better. You don't need to do constant watering. You don't need to do apply fertilizers. So the reason in all our bad gardening is we do not know why this plant is not doing well. The moment you learn this is the reason why the plant is not doing well, your problems are all sorted out. So breeze is very important, especially for those of you who live in a high-raised balcony. Location, very important. Balcony positions are important. Latitudes are important. Hills, plains, and plateaus are important. A plant which may fare well in Chennai and Mumbai may not fare well in a place like Ooty or Nainital or Shimla. A plant which fares well in a place like Bangalore may not fare well in a place like Nagpur, or in a place like Hyderabad, or in a place like Coimbatore, or in a place like Chennai. So all this depends on a plant which fares beautifully well in the south latitudes towards the southern four states may not fare well in the northern states at all. Cardamom does not fare well in the northern states. Cardamom fares well in the southern states. So something like that, your location, the space where you plan to do the garden is very, very important. Most of your south balconies and east balconies are best balconies for your plants. Without a great effort, you can do wonderful gardening. I'm talking about container gardening, plants kept in pots, right? You have potted plants. So a south and an east balcony is a very beautiful balcony because the availability of sunlight, availability of wind, availability of rain during the monsoon season is optimal in these two balconies. Your west balcony and your north balconies are next to that. West balcony always has a lot of wind during the monsoon season, heavy rains during the monsoon season, and lot of sun during the summer season. Very intense sun during the setting sun during the summer season. North is the least bright balcony. So anybody who wants to cultivate or grow flowering plants in the north balcony will find it very difficult. Bougainvilleas, grass, hibiscus, champas, all flowering plants for that matter, tecomas. So any flowering plant is not interesting on a north balcony because north balcony does not get great sunlight. That's how it works. That's because of the Earth's rotation and revolution and its tilted axis. We can't help, right? All of us who are there in the northern hemisphere, we can't help. It's not a problem with our house. It's a general issue. So you can't say that it's a problem with my place. No, generally northern balconies are not very greatly sunlit. So a northern balcony should be a place for plants which don't flower, foliage plants. A south and east balcony, plants which can flower nicely. West balcony, very hardy plants, adeniums, champas, grass. They can be doing very well in a west balcony. So same way, a plant which comes in a hill, all of us have the habit of going to a hill station, buy lots of plants from there and plant it in your plains. My friends have done that. Go to Ooty or Kodai and buy a lot of plants. Go to Nainital, go to Shimla, buy a lot of plants, plant it in Delhi because there it looks beautiful. So we are kind of amazed. Wow, I would like to have this in my garden. You go and plant it in your plains. It is not going to grow well there. A plant growing best in the plains will not grow great in the hills. An adenium will not grow great in the hills. It's a very slow plant in the hill. In a plain, it is relatively okayish plant. Relatively grows faster and has a lot of flowers. Same way, this space is very, very important. So 5 important entities: sunlight, water, medium, air, and space. These form the foundation. Your fertilizers come very next to all these things. So somebody who's able to understand how to water, somebody who's able to understand light, sunlight, space, which balconies are best, somebody who's able to understand, okay, my soil is important, like how Yamini told in the very beginning of the session, right? Soil, touching soil is very important. Soil is very important. These folks can quickly understand how gardening works than fighting with products. As far as home gardening is concerned, there are 2 ways you can do home gardening: indoor gardens and outdoor gardens. All your indoor gardens can have only foliage plants, those plants which do not flower. And there are 1 or 2 plants which do flower in shade. For instance, peace lily does not flower in shade. So don't ever mistake that peace lily is an indoor plant. Peace lily is not an indoor plant. Peace lily is not a plant for hot summers. Peace lily is a plant for medium weather, where the temperature does not go beyond 32 or 33 degrees centigrade, where the winter temperatures don't go below 15 or 16 degrees centigrade. So it's a very beautiful tropical plant. Peace lily is a very beautiful tropical plant. So don't think peace lily is an indoor plant and put it indoors. It will not flower. It will die. It likes sun. So go outside and see what a peace lily in beautiful shape is looking like. And then you can understand. Whenever I go out to a lot of places, I will see this plant is flowering beautifully. Why? Okay, it's getting sunlight from this side. It's having shade from this side. So you will have to assess the situation. How did this person become rich? How did this person become so well? How did this person become interesting in terms of his health, interesting in terms of his physique, his or her physique? You will have to assess. Same way you'll have to assess all these things. So peace lily is not an indoor plant. There is an indoor flowering plant. You can find epicenias to a certain extent, they will flower indoors. You can find ravinias to a certain extent, they will flower in indoors and in shade. Sometimes the dwarf powder puff, red dwarf powder puff, flowers indoors in certain shade. There are very few plants which flower in shade, but they are very sparse. They are not like clusters of flowers won't come. Here and there, there'll be some flowers coming. So that is an indoor garden. Indoor plants are foliage plants. Never put any of your flowering plant indoors. They won't do well at all. All your flowering plants, your fruits and vegetables and trees are outdoor plants. Vegetables, we'll see tomorrow. Vegetables are not balcony plants. Vegetables are open terrace plants, right? Uh, it's like we've always been misguided about a very popular aerated water for about 20-25 years. Oh, that's having a fizz. Oh, you can drink, you can drink. Suddenly, in the last about 10 years, everybody says it contains very high sugar, right? Same way, we've all been taken for a big ride saying that in balconies, you can do great vegetables. Very difficult. Especially north balconies and west balconies, it's very difficult to do vegetables. Maybe in the south and east, certain vegetables can be done. Certain green leafy vegetables like palak, these things can be done. Not a brinjal or cabbage, cauliflower. All these guys need open sunlight. Beetroot, carrot, all these guys need open sunlight. They don't grow great in a balcony situation where sunlight is just going to hit for about 1 or 2 hours, maximum 3 hours. Right? So all your fruits and vegetables are outdoor plants. Outdoor open space or open terrace is the best place. Trees, open space is the best place. So there used to be one of our friends who just bought lot of tree saplings, right? Put it on the terrace in small pots, in 12-inch pots, mango, sapota, guava, right? All these jack, amla, all these things in 12 or 15-inch pot. And on the terrace, and the terrace was completely done with a shelter. It was an awning on the terrace. And this friend said, I want my trees to grow best. I said, two things are not working in your place. First of all, there is an awning. There is no sunlight coming inside your terrace. Number two is that you put all 15-inch pot. Trees need a large container. So it's very difficult for you to grow all these things. All this is because of certain social media involvement where people try to post so many different things. Most of it is not great. So let's understand what is an indoor garden, what is an outdoor garden. Your indoor plants are foliage plants. Your outdoor plants are the ones which are flowering. The fruits and vegetables also flower. Trees also flower. Only after the flower you get the fruit, right? So we will have to clearly understand this. So the concept of good gardening is this: right medium, right watering, right sunlit space, optimal wind, and right space. So concluding, if these 5 aspects are right, plant stays healthy, issues are minor and treatable. Now I will introduce you to a concept called homeostasis. Don't worry about all these words, right? I do not know whether there are any doctors or scientists or biologists in the group. Uh, Homeostasis is a situation of a phenomena, a process of self-regulation by the living organism. It can be a human being, it can be an animal, it can be a plant, right? Or even a bacteria. So the process by which the living organism self-regulates itself from the difficulties caused by the environment, right? Difficulties caused by the environment. There is a smoky place. There is a place where there is a lot of smoke. So suddenly our hand comes and closes the mouth, and we try to not to breathe in that smoke, right? So to prevent ourselves from the external environmental influence, negative environmental influence, the body starts to do self-regulation. There are lots of self-regulation process in plants and animals. So if these 5 aspects, friends, please let's understand that if your plants, existing plants, or whatever plants you're going to buy are not doing great, it is not because of a lack of a product. It is because of a lack of something in these five entities. So if these five entities, the sun, sunlight, water, medium, air, and space, the space where your plants are put, the location where your plants are put, if these are not right, then it becomes homesick and permanently stressed. If these are right, right? If these are right, the plant enters into a beautiful homeostasis. Even if there is a pest incidence, it gets slowly sorted out. Even if there is a disease incidence, it gets slowly sorted out. Right? If there is a nutrition issue, it gets slowly sorted out. So when the five entities are aligned, the plant is in homeo. This is what you go back to chitta vriddhi nirodha, right? When these five entities are aligned, the plant is in yoga, the state of yoga, right? It is not having any distraction. The mind is not expanding. The plant is not going, oh my God, I don't have good water. I don't have good soil. I don't have good sunlight. So the plant is not going this way and that way. It is aligned. It is able to handle itself. So then your garden becomes or comes to a state of yoga. When it is misaligned, when a wrong plant in a wrong space, a water shy plant being given a lot of water, a plant which does not like wind put in a very breezy area, then it is misaligned. So what happens is that when it is misaligned, it, even if it is misaligned, if we don't unnecessarily tamper, they will come back to a homeostasis. They will self-regulate themselves, but they will take time. In the first case, they will take about 10 days for the alignment to happen, for it to come back to a normalcy. In the second case, it will take 1 month, 1.5 months for the plant to come back to a homeostasis or a normal situation. But we are impatient. So when a plant is taking 1.5 months to settle back to its original state, like how we have a fever, doctors say, if you have cold, if you take a medicine, you'll get sorted out in 1 week. If you don't take a medicine, you'll get sorted out in 7 days, right? 7 days and 1 week are the same. So whether you take a medicine or not, your body is going to come back to its normalcy in a certain time. Same way in a plant also, even if the plant is not in a great situation, it will come back to its normalcy in a certain time. That is lesser in the first case and more in the second case. But when we are impatient, trying to put so many things, this fertilizer, oh, that pesticide, that fungicide, then all the uh, issues start to happen. The plant becomes permanently stressed. So this is most important in gardening than doing any, what to say, products. Container versus open garden. Most of us now live in flats, apartments. We don't have open space. Probably the open space is only a common space which is there. Let me tell you, friends, a open space garden is easier, is less problematic, and kind of the homeostasis, the self-regulation is quicker in an open garden. The self-regulation or the settlement is challenging in a container garden. The only reason behind this is the root volume. The root volume in a container garden is choked. It is restricted to that container. Whereas in an open garden, the root volume is not restricted. It goes very deep. In fact, certain plants, the roots go as deep as about 2 to 3 feet. Not the main root, all the ancillary roots, the fibrous root system goes very deep down. So it is more stable. That's what I told you. The root is very important. The accelerator, brake, and clutch is important than the steering wheel, right? So an open ground garden, you will find very less problems. And that's why it's very easy to do organic gardening without pesticides, without fungicides in an open land situation than in a container situation, which we will see tomorrow, right? So a container garden is always challenging. So you will have to work 2 times in a garden than you work in an open garden. Most of us think container gardens are simple and open gardens are challenging. No, open gardens are simple, container gardens are challenging. The only skill in maintaining an open garden is the weeds. If you're really bothered about the weeds, then yes, it's a challenge. If you're not bothered about weeds and consider them as a component of your garden, then your open gardens are the best. Manures and fertilizers. These basics are very important, friends. What is manure? What is a fertilizer? It's actually very interesting to note about these two things. Manures are like fibers for us. Doctor is asking us to take fibers, right? You take fibers, take lot of green leafy vegetables, take lot of foods which are rich in fibers, because this fiber is going to cleanse the intestine, clean the intestine, make it clean so that all the junk, whatever is there in the intestine, gets out. And this fiber in the intestines acts as a residence, as a dwelling place for gut microbacteria. The bacteria which are there, the microorganisms which are there, the gut microbiome, which is called gut microbiome, is very developed in a fiber rich food. So all these gut microorganisms flourish very well inside our intestine. Same way for the plant. So when you add a lot of manures which are rich in fibers, manures are from decomposed animal and plant matter. Decomposed animal or plant matter which contains a lot of fiber is a manure, right? They contain a lot of fibers plus carb, not great amount of nutrition as such, but these are important because they host a lot of beneficial microorganisms. Beneficial microorganisms are important for us and for the soil. In our system, digestion happens inside the intestine. For a plant, the digestion of the food, what the plant is going to take, has to happen outside the plant root, right? So the plant cannot digest the food inside because it is doing some other activity. Plant is doing production of food inside itself. So all the materials which are taken as a nutrition by the plant has to be digested outside, and it has to be sent through the roots in simpler forms. Right? It may look a bit complicated, don't worry. Sit and think, you will be able to understand. We have to digest food inside. Plants' food has to be digested outside. So you apply some product. You apply panchakavya, you apply this fertilizer, that fertilizer, all sorts of compost you apply. All these guys have to be digested outside the plant root, and the plant can take nutrition only in a very basic form called ions, IONS, calcium ion, potassium ion, nitrate ion, ammonium ions. That is the way it can enter into the root. It can't enter into the root you apply. You may apply n number of products into your plants. All this cannot directly enter into the plant roots. They have to be converted to a very simple form, and then it has to go into the plant roots. Who is doing all this conversion? The microorganisms are doing all this conversion. So if your soil does not contain enough manure, enough composts, whatever fertilizer you apply is not going to be converted to an available form what the plant can take. So all the fertilizer is either retained in the soil or removed from the soil by subsequent watering. So there has to be an equal manure and fertilizer application. Fertilizers are required only in very little dosage. Very, very little dosage. Most of the times we are made to believe that every week you'll have to apply fertilizers. 1 spoon, 1 spoon, 1 spoon. Please understand, the 1 spoon of fertilizer what you use every week, only 1/20th of that is required by the plant. The remaining 19 portions is wasted away from the soil. It's just washed off. It's just going into the through the drain. That's all. It's not being used up. So please ensure that your plants have good amount of manure rather than lot of fertilizers. Pests and diseases. The only biggest concern for us is pests and diseases. Right? Always my plant is affected by pests. Always my plant is affected by diseases. I lost all my plants because of mealybugs. No, go back. If your plant is in the state of yoga, right? If it is in a state where chitta vriddhi nirodha is attained. It is not bothered about the different things. It is in the good sunlight, it is in good water, it is in good air, it's in good medium and in good space. Pests and diseases won't attack. If pests and diseases start to attack, it means that one of these five is not working properly. Like in Ayurveda, when you go to an Ayurveda doctor, they have three categories: Vata, Chitta, and Sleshma. Right. So if is your body this kind, is your body this kind, is your body this kind, and depending on that, they will give you medication. So when your plant is not in a state of yoga, then all your pests and diseases will come. Right. Sometimes, yeah, pests have to come. Where will they go for food? That's also part of the environment. Friends, please understand. Before we were created and before we started culturing plants in our home gardens, pests and plants were created millions of years before we were created. So they have a better connect. We are nobody to come and say, hey, guy, you are not here to eat my plants. Nature or God or whoever it is has created that pest for that plant. So, to a certain extent, yes, you have to allow these pests on your plants. That's called a threshold level, right? And this threshold level is automatically attained. I am not talking philosophy, friends. I am talking science. When this threshold level is automatically attained, the pest comes, it feeds, it goes away. Even the mealybug comes, it feeds, it goes away. When the plant is in yoga, when all the five inputs, what we have been discussing so far, are in right amount. If it is not in right amount, is when your pest and disease become bigger and messier, right? So don't worry about pests and disease. That's the last thing you have to worry. There are enough ways to handle pests and diseases. In fact, many of my friends who've been thinking that only pests and diseases are killing their plants, after about 2-3 years of continuous teaching, they have understood, yes, pests and disease do not do anything great to the plant. It is only the five entities, the five elements of nature, which contributes more towards problems in plants, right? So that's the last slide. So I think I have almost kept up to my time. Just have a 5-10 minutes to show my small little space, right? Those of us who are interested in organic gardening, now this is the in thing in gardens today. I want to grow organic gardening. Oh my God, what happened?
Sir, do you need the slide?
Huh?
Do you need that slide, or do you want to show us the garden?
No, I want to finish the slide. I'll finish the slide. Yeah, yeah. It's now visible. It's visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. So all of us, just one slide, Yamini. So all of us are bothered about doing organic garden without even knowing what is organic gardening. We all want to do organic gardening, because somebody at some point of time has created all these things. Somebody who's interested in doing organic gardening, first we will have to get into the yoga mode, understand the five elements of your garden. And beyond this, let's not go for fertilizers, pesticides, and this and that. We will understand these four concepts. Predation. When nature created a pest, when nature created a problem, it also created a solution. All our pests, what we see in our gardens, have got natural predators. Somebody who's a non-vegetarian guy who comes and eats these insects. These insects are vegetarian guys. They feed only on our plants. There is a non-vegetarian insect which comes and feeds on these insects. So you have to allow this predation to happen. Slowly you will learn. Plant resistance. There are some plants which are naturally resistant. I'll tell you one classical example. I've been telling this to a lot of people. During COVID time, right? My dad, he had COVID. He passed away because of COVID. He died of COVID. My wife, my son had COVID symptoms, right? My mother, myself, and my daughter, we never had COVID symptoms. In the last about 3 years, 2020 to 2023, we never had COVID symptoms. Subsequently, when we gave a test, an antibody test right? My mother and I had very high antibodies for COVID. So the doctor who tested us, he said, "You guys have already got COVID and it has left. Probably you did not know about that." This is called resistance. This could have happened in many of your households. Some of you in your households might have got the symptoms. Some of you might never have got the symptoms at all. Those cases were called as asymptomatic cases. So, a lot of plants have natural resistance in them. So, as a good gardener, we will have to find out what is the natural resistance in our plant, and you will be able to do it only when you interact with your plants daily. Friends, you are all doing yoga, right? You have all taken a membership for about 1 year or 6 months or whatever it is. You only appear in the session once a month, then it is very difficult for you to practice yoga. You will have to appear at least 5 days in a month, I mean, sorry, 5 days in a week, right? Or 4 days in a week, and then yes, you get the continuity. Same way, if you are watching your plants at least for about 10 minutes every day, you will quickly learn from them in just about 1 month or 2 months. Plant diversity, very, very important. You should have a mix and match of plants. Why a mix and match of plants? One has to understand that a pest or a disease is very choosy about the plant. A pest which is attacking one plant may not attack the other plant. A disease which is attacking one plant may not attack the other plant. It may not be a very choosy host. So, having different kinds of plants in your garden will confuse the pest or confuse the disease, and the spread will be very, very less. Biocontrol agents. There are lots of biocontrol agents. Most of you who are doing good gardening will already know about trichoderma, pseudomonas, this, that, and all these products. So, if at all you have problems in your garden, slowly start using biocontrol agents, which are biological ways of natural ways of handling them rather than using chemical ways. Because these natural ways are already there in the system. We have just isolated this and bringing it back. That's all. So these four areas are very important to do your good garden. So where are we? Yeah. So we'll continue it tomorrow, and I will just take about 3 minutes or 4 minutes to show you my small little space which I want to show you, and I think after that we will wind up the show. Yamni, can I go to the laptop? I mean, sorry, for the to the mobile. Yeah.
Yes. So Sir has planned a little surprise for us where he'll show. So you can move in the meantime. So Sir has planned a little surprise for us where he's going to show us his garden and give us tips and tricks of how he's maintaining it. So I really hope that you will enjoy it, and just stay put because some real life practical scenarios and examples that you can understand and learn from. So we'll just add Sir back here. Hello, Sir.
Yeah. Hello, Yamni. Are you all able to see the screen now?
Yes, I'll just give you full screen, Sir.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is actually my courtyard. Okay. This is my courtyard. This courtyard has got a pergola on the top. Okay, so sunlight comes through this. I will just explain you some important things about the 5 elements what we have discussed. So sunlight comes through this. This is the west side. You can see a bamboo mat, a mat which can be rolled up and down, right? So this is a bamboo mat. There is a opening there, and this is another opening. If I roll this bamboo up, phenomenal amount of western sun will come inside, and that's going to create this space to be very hot. So this bamboo mat is always kept closed most of the times in a year. Only during winters, this is in Chennai, so only during Jan this mat can be rolled up to get some sunlight inside, because the sun does not rise and set in the same point every month. So now the sunset is happening here. Towards December, January, the sunset will happen further towards the southwest. This is the southwest, right? And as summer comes, the sunset happens here towards the northwest. So sun moves between the south and the north, which is called as Uttarayan and Dakshinayana. So this place has got only foliage plants. I don't have any flowering plants whatsoever, right? All these are foliage plants. No flowering plants here at all, right? So there is a mix and match of plants. Number one, optimal sunlight is important. Now you can see the sunlight is just coming inside. The sun has just started to come. This is coming from east to west. So this is west. So by about 2:30, I'll get some good sunlight here. And that sunlight is more than enough. I can't grow vegetables here. Most of us have some balconies or courtyards like this, and we want to plant vegetables. No, vegetables will not grow here. Even a hibiscus will not grow here. No flowering plant will grow here. It's only a foliage plant which will grow here. And you can see the variety. What is the importance of varieties? A disease which happens on this plant will not happen on this plant. A disease which happens on this plant will not happen on this plant. So that is the reason why you will have to have a mix and match of plants. Number one. Same thing applies to pests, right? All these plants are in soil medium. Some of these plants are in water medium in bottles, and there are a couple of air plants on this side. There is a orchid which is sitting on a no soil medium. The orchid plant literally died, but it slowly is picking up. Most important thing about an orchid is the root. This root, whitish root, is very, very important, right? So the first thing about sunlight, second thing about breeze. There is no breeze here, right? There is absolutely no great breeze here. If at all there is a breeze, it comes only from this side. So you'll have to check whether your location of your plants, your indoor plants or outdoor plants, suit these five entities, five elements. Watering, which is very important. There are at least about 20 potted plants in this space. How do I water this space? My gardener will just show you. He's with me for the last about 26 years. He's 71 years old now. I'll just show you how to water this plant. This is a shower can, 5-liter shower can. This is how you will have to water the plant. Do not root water your plant. Always shower water your plant, because after the water falls on the leaf, on the plant, whatever water is falling on the soil is more than enough for the plant. That is the best way to water your plants. So a beginner who is concerned about watering, always start with shower watering. Never do root watering. So with shower watering, with just 5 liters of water, I have done almost 20 plants here, and this watering will repeat after another 3 days. So that is how you have to water your plants. Watering is very important. Learn watering. Somebody who has learned watering can easily do gardening very well. Mediums, yes, to a certain extent. Sunlight and space, location is very, very important. Breeze. If I open this study mat, lot of breeze will come inside. Lot of sunlight will come inside. That is not going to really help these plants. So this is the ideal sunlight for these shade lovers. This sunlight is not enough for vegetables. Tomorrow I'll show you some vegetables on my terrace. I have all my vegetables on my terrace. So that's how you will have to start planning your uh, garden areas or ornamental garden areas. This is a coleus plant. I'll give you a small tip. Any plant which is valued for its leaf should not be made to flower. This is the flower. It should not be made to flower. So this plant is valued for its leaf. It should not be made to flower. So you have to nip off the flower, right? The flower has to be nipped off. Any plant which is had to flower, suppose the plant is there, it needs to flower more and more and more. You will have to learn to prune the plant, cut the plant, and remove certain portions of the leaf. So it works like this. Any plant which is a foliage plant, never allow the plant to flower. Any plant which is a flowering plant, never allow the plant to give lots of foliage. You will have to keep cutting it so that flowering happens quickly and flowering happens in quick successions. So this is something about what I wanted to tell you on um, indoor space maintenance. So this is just a very short workshop. We've just had it for about an hour and 10 minutes. That's all. What best I could convey in about an hour and 10 minutes, I have done. Hope it was useful. Team, can I come back to my laptop?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You may.
Team, can I come back to my laptop?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah.
So let's wait for a minute while Sir is back to the screen. I hope you enjoyed watching the garden and learning some practical tips about what is important, how should we take care. Yes? What is your biggest takeaway? You can quickly type it in the chat box. From today's session, what is your biggest takeaway? Sir, are we ready? Hello, hello. So, do we have time
Uh,
for some questions?
of course, yes.
Yeah,
If you have the time,
so
I have the time.
we can take 5 to 7 questions for next 10,
But I'm
five,
not able to see
7.
any questions. Yeah, yeah. I'm not able to see questions because it's just going very fast.
Yeah, right now I asked all our members to write about whatever was their biggest takeaway from today's session. What have they learned and
Oh,
what
okay,
they're going
okay,
to try
okay,
to
okay,
implement. So that is something that the members are writing, and then we will ask about the
okay.
questions. So now, whatever questions you have, you can quickly ask. Can you guide about Tulsi plant?
Tulsi plant. Three important aspects about Tulsi plant. One, Tulsi plant is an open sun loving plant. It is not a shade loving plant. Number two, Tulsi plant is a water shy plant. It's not a water loving plant, right? So don't continuously water. Just because somebody elder in the house says every day you'll have to water the tulsi plant, go around the tulsi one day, don't do that. You can go around the tulsi a number of times, but don't water the tulsi every day. Water it maybe once in 2 or 3 days. If at all you want to water, just sprinkle water on the tulsi for some religious reasons. Number three, you will find tulsi flowers coming out after a certain point of time. Don't retain all the flowers. Like I told you, coleus, what I showed you just now, and tulsi come under the same botanical family. Like all of us have. There are some Agarwals, there are some Mishras, there are some Iyyars, there are some uh, uh, different kinds of families, right? So each family has got a trait. So the Tulsi also comes under the family of Lamiaceae. So when you want more leaves on the Tulsi plant, remove the flowers. At least remove 50% to 60% of the Tulsi flowers, what you find. That's all. Very simple. Great. Any other question?
So
What
there are
about Kadi Patta plant? That's interesting. Kadi Patta plant. Kadi Patta plant is open sun loving plant. For instance, any plant which has fragrance on its leaves or flowers likes sun, right? So fragrant plants, even rosemary likes sun. But unfortunately, what we do is that we put rosemary inside balconies. No, it's not going to work out at all. So rosemary is an open sun loving plant in cooler locations, in a place like Bangalore, Pune. Yeah, it's an open sun loving plant. So Kadipatta is an open sun loving plant, does not grow great in shaded balconies. Number two, it's a winter dormant plant. Leaves will become sick and they will fall down during winters. Never be bothered about that. It's a process, it's a natural process. During that time, never overwater your plants. When the plant starts to naturally shed leaves, it's saying, I don't want water. It's like Kumbhakarna sleeping for 6 months. So when Kumbhakarna is sleeping for 6 months, you should not give him food. Same way, when the Kadipatta is sleeping during the winter months on dormancy, don't give it any fertilizers, don't give it any water. So if you give fertilizers and water, the plant is going out of yoga, right? It is getting it is not getting that uh, uh, balance, right? Great. I get another question. I always get pests on my hibiscus. I missed that question, Yami. One second. I always get pests on my hibiscus only. Why is this so? How to take care of it from infection? Very good question. You get pests on the hibiscus because the pest did not come after it reached your place. The pest was there even in the nursery. So what happened was this mealybug was there in the nursery. They started to spray pesticides in the nursery. So this mealybug migrated from the top of the plant to the bottom of the plant in the root, and it was hiding there when you bought the plant or when the plant came to your house. So inside your house, you are not doing any spraying. So it's coming back to its top portion and starting to infect or infest on your plant. There are ways to do it. There are interesting biological ways. There is a product called verticillium. Some of you who are doing good gardening will know that will help in mitigating this infection problem. It will not spread to other plants very fast. Mm. When we buy snake plant, they do not give sand based soil. Is it okay to change the soil, or get will it get sick? I think it's sick, sick. Yeah. When you buy snake plant, they do not give sand based soil. Normally they give it on cocoa peat based medium. They do not give it on sand based soil. You can conveniently change it to sand based soil. There is nothing wrong. Snake plant is a drought hardy plant, right? So you should not water this snake plant. Either it is in soil based medium or cocoa peat based medium. Just avoid over watering. You have to water it only once in a week. The lesser you water, the better the plant will grow. How to propagate foliage plants? Cuttings. Uh, my hibiscus is not flowering. I have 3 of them, 5 elements. That's all. So, like all of you are in this practice of yoga, right? Check whether your plant is in yoga. Check whether your 5 elements of your plants are correct. Open sunlight, less watering, more flowering, less watering, right? Please understand, friends, there's one more important tip. When any biological organism is subjected to a little stress, right, they will reproduce. Flowering is a reproductive process. So when a biological organism is subjected to a little stress, they reproduce. That's why pruning helps in flowering. Reducing water helps in flowering. So check whether your plant is in good soil, good sunlight, optimally watered, not overwatered. Automatically your plant will flower. My God, lots of questions here. Team, how do I take so many questions? Money plant care, no great care. The ones which you saw in the water, they are there for about 7-8 months. I add water once in about 1.5 months. That's all. No great care and all. They can grow only to a certain extent. They can't grow beautiful big. But the ones in the pot, they have grown quite long. It's just optimal watering and optimal sunlight. No direct sunlight for money plant, diffused sunlight. So exactly what I'm trying to say is, when you are a master in managing these 5 elements: sunlight, air, water, soil, and space, I think gardening is a cakewalk. I mean, that nothing more than that. Please name some indoor plants. My balcony has no direct sunlight. ZZ plant, Sansevieria are great indoor plants. You can grow them. Yes, Yamini. So
The
I do not
questions
know
are
whether I'll be able to take so many questions. Uh,
yes. What we can do, sir, is connect a little bit early tomorrow, and
mm,
we can have our members join in 10 minutes earlier tomorrow in the session, and you can
mhm,
post your questions in the chat, and we
mhm,
can have like 10 minutes exclusive question and answers of day 1, and then
mhm,
we start with day 2 tomorrow, if
mhm.
that's
Yeah.
okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Dhania, tomorrow we will see how to sow dhania in the practical session. After the vegetable session is over, we will see tomorrow how to sow dhania. Right?
Wow, very nice. Thank you so much,
Great.
sir, for
Thanks a lot. Thanks a
sharing
lot.
of wisdom today. I think it was very, very
It
insightful,
was.
and truly, I'm hoping that some of us who have not been in touch with our gardens or have been wanting to do it will find this a way to get back to our roots. And really grateful, sir, for making everything so simple and explaining with real life practical examples. We'll see you tomorrow, and we're super excited for what you have in store for us tomorrow.
Great. I just will take one more question, team, from Bharat. I have successfully grown many leafy plants except methi. Should usually die after 10 days. Any good tip? Bharat, you'll have to understand that your methi is going through a disease called damping off. Damping space OFF. Check this in the internet. This is a seed-borne disease. You can't prevent it. So what you have to do is that you will have to either treat the soil with some antifungal agents or treat the seed with some antifungal agents. Automatically, you will have 100% germination and 100% growth. So don't worry about that. It's a seed-borne disease. It travels with the seed. So you will have this problem. 10th day, chuck, 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 all the tops of the plant will just drop down as if somebody just cut the plant or somebody toppled the plant purposely. That's it. So don't worry. Anything is easy as long as you know what the problem is. Great team. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Habil community, for spending time with me today. I did not expect such a response. Honestly, so many people will join and so many people will have questions. So tomorrow we will see about vegetables. Vegetables is post graduation in gardening. Ornamental gardening is just graduation. Anybody can do ornamental gardening. Vegetables is post graduation. Let's see something about that tomorrow. Great, thanks. All the best. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you too. You too, sir. Thank you so much. I would love to see your photos and your garden photos and what you have learned from today's session on the Facebook community. So do share your feedback or what you enjoyed, what were your takeaways, and definitely come back tomorrow for day 2 of the gardening workshop. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye. Namaste. Back in team, let's wrap up.